No, I just was hello Yeti Nation. I want to be like Bob Leary. He's got that you got that special thing on the hello out there in TV land
Television
on
land.
a couple of those television land. Yes, that's I like that. That was pretty cool. That's why I say Yeti Nation. Hello Yeti Nation.
I like it. It's a good way to start it
It's
every day.
every day. That's how
So
we do it. Yeti Nation.
we get to start out with some exciting news. Air Blaine Stotler got
Hey
his
Blaine,
first PBLA start.
he took flight. He took flight down to the Hammerhead. I believe it was in Virginia. Is that where the
Yep.
game was? Yeah, inside. He sent me a picture of the complex they play in. That's beautiful from the outside, and a couple pictures from the inside, and it looks like a very nice big arena. And he was going down just to be a alternate, but then got the nod. He suited up, got to play, and got himself on the score sheet with an assist.
Yeah, that's a great way to start your career. I mean, not bad. I'm sure he would have liked to take in flight, and maybe he did. It's a shame we don't get footage of this. I tell you, I think and they've got it recorded somewhere because I believe they're recording it all for the officials. So I don't know. Maybe they're gonna just hold on to it and they're gonna drop it in specs or wait for the season to wrap up. I'm not sure what their plans are with that, but
Yeah, it would be nice to see some of them. Yeah, that's for sure. I know I'm going to be down in heading down to Binghamton Friday night, so I'm going to definitely check out to see the Bombers and the Spark are playing. So excited about that. But and then on Saturday we have plans here in the Tri City family. A sad week, 2 weeks for the family of Bruce Davis and Brian Davis and Brandon Davis, our Yeti member, and to all their families. Much love to you. Your dad was a great man, and you all know it. That's what he's done for many of us, not just outside the or outside the lacrosse community. He he was there for us all. You know, you needed something, Bruce was there, and much respect, much love. Uh, gonna be missed. So, amen to that. Bruce Davis, you were a great man, and we shall always remember you and always have a beer and a stogie. Keep them bugs away. That's what he did. But I don't want to get on. I got to get off that because otherwise I can
yeah,
talk for
our
hours and
condolences.
hours and hours, and
Definitely
nobody
go out
wants
to
to
the
see me
Davis.
cry because I'm a crybaby.
Oh yeah, our condolences definitely go out to the Davis family. Yeah,
Absolutely,
they
huge sponsor. Our very first sponsor.
great
They
great
came up and
supporters.
they said they wanted to get on the Yeti bandwagon, and they did, and truly grateful. Great people, great family, great business. Be dry.
Be dry. Yeah, if you need water in the basement, get a hold of Be
You got
Dry.
water in the basement. You got tears in the eyes. You want to what? Be dry.
All right, so well now on to something definitely lighter than that. Uh, well, sorry. Yeah, the
Sorry about that.
no, you talked to
He's a great guy, and he's a great guy, and and like I said, the family, they do so much for the lacrosse community, and there's so many people out there, Beecher, that don't get the recognition and the word that they that that they truly should. And he was one of those guys, like I said, whether it was for Tri City, whether it was for the village of Whitesboro, whether anybody, Bruce knew something, boom, done. And the world needs a the world needs a lot more Bruce Davises, that's for sure. And the best part about it, he's got two boys, B Davis and B Davis. They both run. That's what we love.
yeah.
On that note, I'm gonna put a smile on my face and let's do
All right,
something
Yeti
else.
Strong. Let's talk about you got
Yeti
to
strong, baby.
touch base with Patty Crosby, the Terror, doing great down there. He hasn't quite gotten involved yet, so he's waiting to hold out. But everything's good with Patty. He's doing good down there, so that's
He's
awesome.
doing good. He says he's at the games for the home games. He doesn't travel for the away games. So the Terror, they got obviously some pretty good goalies down there. They
That
had a 20, what was it, 20-19 or 20-9 or something like that. They put a pounding on Blaine's team, wasn't it? Who the heck did
Yeah. Yeah, it's 20-9. The Hammerheads
20 to
beat the
9?
Tear. I can pull it's up in between us right now. So I've got the
Okay,
PBLA scores up in between us right now. The games from the weekend, you had the Hammerheads and the Tear 20-9. Um,
29.
yeah, sounds. I don't know. I really would have liked to seen what happened because it really could be the case if you had maybe a cold goalie. It could have been a team that was that much better. Was the defense that good? A couple of cold spots. I mean, you really never know. Penalty shots. The way this league is. Hopefully, we'll get to see it. The bootleggers and the All Americans, 15-0. So now the bootleggers. Obviously not the start they wanted, but the All Americans are now number one with a 2-0 record, which is a great start for them. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're a team that's played together for quite a while. That's a huge benefit to your guys. You know how that is with the Yeti team. You
Oh
guys are
yeah.
playing together all year in some kind of open form, or it's there's really no way. I mean, look at Rochester in the NLL. They're absolutely taking off, and it's because all those guys played together in the summer. You got 9 guys. They added Connor Fields, and chemistry is so much. So I think I'll be interested to see if the All Americans can keep that going, or as these other teams start to grow, we start to get a little more.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I got to believe they're still moving rosters around, if I'm not mistaken, as far as being some cuts and some acquisitions. I believe they're still all these teams are still tweaking and trying to find that chemistry, like you had said.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
there's going to be some changes, but I wouldn't expect too much too soon though, because I mean, you kind of got to give these guys some time to work things out. But I think they've already had some coaching changes early that they haven't really. It's been kind of hard to follow this league. They don't put a ton out as far as news, stats would be super helpful. But
maybe
the Renegade
would be.
Spark game, if you got a chance to watch that a 5 goal game, anybody who knows box lacrosse knows that was not that far apart. The end, the Renegade kind of ran away with it, but I tell you what, Syracuse played 2 really good quarters. Uh, they got to get that knucklehead though figured out. He's got to stop acting like that. Yeah, he can't act like that. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. He's costing his team. It's not good, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. Uh,
I did watch bits and pieces of it. I wasn't able to watch the whole thing, but yeah, I know my man Dwighty Burrow. If I'm not mistaken, he's a captain.
he is
Uh,
face-off guy down there. He had a pretty good game. There was definitely some bright lights. It definitely wasn't a blowout, like I said. Elmira got off to a huge, start, and then they let Syracuse come back into it. And I really think
yeah, yeah.
Syracuse kind of pulled themselves out of it, and then mentally out of it, and then they just kind of caught fire. And that's, Syracuse came back, and I tell you that Caleb Benedict, Ron has told me about him a couple times talking to him, Kogan, and and they gave him the penalty shot. He did great. Skylar
Yeah.
Thomas, another penalty shot. The penalty shots, if we could just get the league to release the penalty shots, I think you would have enough clips for the week for highlight goals.
Oh, they're insane tiptoers. I mean,
Every
the way, and then the twister shot to dunk it in the backside. And I've seen a couple of the highlights, in regards to the dive shots. These guys are launching, man. They're having a great time, and they're putting it all on the field. I wish we could see it, more of it, more of it.
it,
Especially the Yeti. As far as the Bombers had off last week, so that was their bye week, so they got a chance to heal up from the first game and tweak the things that they needed to tweak. We'll look to see if there's any roster moves. I'm excited to watch the game. I've heard rumors that there might be a Yeti in the stands, but I know I may have to leave early from work, so I don't know if I'll be able to stop and pick cross check up to take them down with me. So we'll see what happens.
that's awesome. So yeah, I'll talk to you about it after the show. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it out there. I'd like to. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. If
Yeah.
but anyways, so yeah, watching that game though, I mean, yeah, Syracuse really had a lot of bright moments, and they had a couple of big penalties, and it kind of spun the momentum around for it. And then Elmira, props to Brian Hobart for really, getting his team back into it. That's not an easy task when you consider they came up huge, in the home crowd. You kind of get that adrenaline, but a lot of times you'll see that, and then you saw it in the Vegas game there with the Desert Dogs. They get out and they shoot, and then it's like over, and they're like done, and they weren't
Yeah.
able to come back. But Brian Hobart led the Renegades back. Justin McKinney, an NABLL player.
Yeah, solid game. Yeah, I was watching him. The couple clips that you had posted as well. But as far as the part of the game that I was watching, Justin's making he's making a stand out there. That's for darn sure. Some solid defensive play on that bottom post.
Yeah, he played great. And Lucas had an assist. I'm not sure if he had more. I was kind of watching the game as I was doing some other stuff around the house. But I tell you, there was no replays on it, which there was a few, but then I don't know what happened. Something, but it's tough to watch them like that because as you're doing stuff. But anyways, the highlights that they have out of that are amazing. Just the penalty shots alone, though, the talent out there. Like I said, Lucas Maloney. How about the NABLL being represented out there? So
Yeah.
even in that game, you had Dwight Burrows and you had other guys.
Casey Swamp. Casey Swamp was on there.
Yeah.
The Collar City had Justin Maloney.
Yeah, they've got
Cody.
No, it's Cody Kilcoyne. He plays for Binghamton.
Kilcoyne.
So he had the game-winning.
That's right.
Had the game-winning goal the week before for Binghamton.
That's right.
I had a chance to sit and talk with him on my podcast there, Cody.
I watched it. Yeah, he's good stuff.
He's a great guy. I had a chance to go down and film him a couple times then. West Rock and a couple of the other games they played down there, the Saugerties Night Pandas. And I tell you what, like, he's one of those special players. He's the transition player. He has a lot of offensive skill. He's a very solid defenseman. I expect a lot of good things out of him in this league. And a lot of the players like that are really doing well. Like Justin is getting, a lot of time out there. He's really playing well. Those two-way players are what you're seeing. Casey Swamp, the big defenseman. But like for as big as he is, he stays strong throughout the whole game. And I tell you, Syracuse is a very imposing team. They are big, and if you have to earn every goal you get against Syracuse, you're going in there, and they got a bunch of big boys, and they're going to throw you around. I would definitely be a little critical of the refs. I'm not sure what happened there at halftime. We lost like a 3 minutes of a power play. Maybe I just missed something, didn't understand it. I'm not sure. There was a couple of iffy things, but I mean, we've got new refs, new leagues. These things are going to happen. They're going to work through the glitches, I think, as long as they can keep this entertaining product out there. Have you heard from any of the other guys that are playing on any of these other teams as far as...
I've heard a couple things from the Bombers, but I'm not going to talk any type of who's in, who's out type of thing. There's a couple things, but in regards to, I had a question with what you was just talking about, and I'm sure Ronnie, it was in regards to you was talking to Ronnie, and I did.
Caleb Benedict when I was talking about
the boards, changing, switching. That's my question because I don't know where to find the information. But are they now allowed to unlimited swaps in regards to? Remember how we had thought it was only able to switch 2-3 guys?
Yeah,
or whatever
they never came up with that. So I always wondered how that was going to work. Like that was something, and that's something that like this league kind of. I don't think it was so much because they were trying, to hide anything. I think they were honestly playing with options as they were going through their training camps and the scrimmages.
Yeah, exactly. They were feeling in things out. How would this work?
I think they nailed the penalty shot thing. I think they absolutely 100%. This league that is so impressive, and it really makes you think before you get a minor penalty because you've got Skylar Thomas is like what 5 for 6, I think, or 6 for 7.
You were saying, imagine going 100% on your power play,
right? And so that's what I mean. It's like if you have a guy like that, and then they put Caleb Benedict out there, and he scored on one, and you've got Warren Hill who's playing for Renegades, and he is scoring all over the place. And the Renegades had a lot of scoring from all over. Really, it was a great game of lacrosse. So much talent out there, and to see the way that the league plays out, and with the line changes, the way they're doing it is basically you're always backwards. So like your defense has to go through the offensive door and your offense has to go through the
Right.
defensive door,
Right.
which leads you to have guys that stay out there. But the way some of these teams are built, and a lot of these teams are built, I would imagine, as we're watching them, is there's so many athletic guys, and really you see a lot of transition guys are being the stars, and each team has to have, 3 or 4 guys like that are just your goal scorers that just have that it factor. And most of them are going to be in great shape. I know Rodney was messing with Durston a little bit there from he's playing for the Binghamton team. But like when I talked to Cody, he's like he's one of those special talent guys. Like is once he gets comfortable and he's doing his thing, if he's playing, like Cody's confident. And I'm sure, I mean, he played for the Firewolves last year. He's a
Right.
phenomenal player. He scores goals. There's no other reason he would have been on that Firewolves team. There's no other reason he would be on that. Like he is that kind of player. And if you talk to anybody who's played with him, they all say that about him is he's that kind of goal scorer. Like he's that
Yeah.
talented. So it'll be interested to see how he comes out next week. I really that game is, I think, going to be amazing. Syracuse, I really can't wait to see how it plays out because you have to earn every time you go into the crease on Syracuse. And I know the Bombers have a bunch of guys that will get into it, but can they really maintain that? You saw Myra figured out a way to beat it, and they figured out how to
Yeah.
draw them out, and you got their hotheads out when they got a little frustrated, and then boom. But that's the other thing too, is like Billy O'Brien does not play like that other idiot. That guy is
Right.
just, yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know. 2 games in a row with it. It is what it is. I'd like to see the league do something about it, but I really don't want to say that because I don't ever want to see anybody miss a paycheck because of being stupid. But when you do shit like that, it's kind of like, figure it out, bud. I mean, he's a good player is the problem. Like he's a very
Yeah.
talented player and he's super, like he's in phenomenal shape. And if he wouldn't lose his head and do the dumb shit, like he could really help his team. And he's a phenomenal athlete. And I think he's one of those guys that if he could get it together, he would probably be at the next level too. He just needs to, figure it out and not.
Yeah.
But part of his game is he takes the offensive players to that level and he makes them either afraid to come in or they know like, okay, when I go in I'm getting smashed, so it better be worth it. And that's what I think Syracuse is really. I This offense, as Syracuse goes, they're struggling a little now, but I don't know, I see them still being one of the predominant teams going forward as they figure it out with the rule changes, they settle their pieces in. You see it all the time in these leagues. Teams get hot at the beginning. That doesn't help you. You need to be consistent, you need discipline, you need to know what you're doing, your team system, everybody needs to buy in. You can't have 1 or 2 guys scoring all your goals for you. And
Well, like Ron said, Ron, I watched your podcast with him. Like you said, where you want to be. Do you want to, like you just said, peak at the beginning, or do you want to be at the? We need to be peaking at the end. As far as that's like a lot of teams. There's a lot of guys that haven't touched the field yet. So Geddes hasn't been on the field yet. I can't wait to see. Jeff Geddes is a hell of a lacrosse player. Granted they've only had 1 game, but there again. I'm excited to see some people get some playing time and have some fun out there, and maybe Syracuse has got to do a little tweaking. Everybody's got to do some tweaking. And again, you don't
there's going to
know.
be,
These guys they're pros. Guess what? There's a reason why they made that team.
yeah, they're going to be, all the
And they
teams are
made the
going to
team
be,
because they're pretty damn good.
yeah.
And if they can, everybody needs their time. You get on there and you shine. Guess what? You're gonna start to get more runs. That's how it works. And
I think they nailed the game of the week this week, though. I mean, having the Terror and the All Americans, obviously, we would prefer to see the Bombers and Spark, but we're fortunate enough that we live close enough that a 3-hour drive, and well, 3 hours for me. How long does it take you to get to Binghamton?
it's going to be about 2. It's a little over 2. So I'm debating whether it's going to be 8 to 88 or if I want to jump on the throughway and pay all them damn tolls that New York State loves to collect from me because I don't have an easy pass. So they say, ha, ha, don't pay that bill. We love you more.
But I really think they nailed it because like you've seen that Trenton Terror team seems to be, they're doing pretty good. That obviously that last game 20-8, but you don't know what was going on with that. Unfortunately, there's no even like we don't know if guys were sick, if guys got hurt. I have no clue really.
We're talking to Blaine. Blaine didn't have a whole lot.
He went down thinking he was an alternate.
Again, everything gets back to chemistry. Yeah. People need to, other than being at a couple tryouts and 1 game on the field, people don't know what unless they've watched sheer videos, what this kid's capable of. I mean, I know he squats cars for Christ's sakes. The kid can launch, and he's got that, not the same Michael Jordan airtime type thing, but when normal people are touching the ground, he's still got that, half a second in him to get that ball around you. So I'm excited to watch. Hopefully, get well, whether they come to Syracuse or Binghamton, and hopefully he'll be in the lineup. We'll get to watch him. That'd be cool. Did mine die? I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second. Let me go.
No, you're good, Paul. You're good, Paul.
I'm
I was
good.
just
I'm
saying
good.
we're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
The Be Dry system. Your basement's wet? Get a hold of Be Dry. Believe in 271. Nobody fights alone. CBI cable. Use what the pros use. Plug them in. Deming Lakeside Trailer Park. Eric Kiefer. LUTCF. Friend of the Utica Yeti. Family Landscaping. Contact Russ. Spring is coming. Fay Farm. Where's the beef? GKS. George Kaler. Sales and Service. The NABLL. Nora's Candy Shop. Home of the world famous turkey joints. Contact Nora's. They'll send them out. Tri-City Lacrosse. 40 years of lacrosse in the Utica Rome area. Tag Ray Tool. Rome Sign and Display Company. Contact Terry down at Rome Sign. Bobby Dick's Insurance Company. Contact Bobby. Nice Scoba, the men and women in blue. Thank you for what you do. Clinton Tractor and Implement Company. Contact the Caledona family.
Crafty Beach Design. Hit up Crafty Beach Design to get any personalized gift, perfect for every occasion. Teachers, loved ones, and anything else. Get a customized pen, t-shirt, cup, and so much more.
Mark Murphy Photography. You looking for the shots? Mark's got the shots. 4x Hill. Black River Ale House. When you're in Rome, do what the Romans do. They go to the Black River Ale House. When you're in Utica, stop by Bag Square Brewery. Have yourself a cross check, and you'll get a nice.
And welcome back. Hopefully everything went exactly as we expected. That was super cool. Got a chance to record the commercial a couple days ago. So thank you very much to all the sponsors. We really appreciate them. Without you guys, we would not be able to do what we're doing. And so many of these guys that play in the NABLL, that's one thing that I really want to emphasize with the, everybody's got to support your local sponsors, because without these guys getting all this playing time, we would not have so many of the PBLA players. I mean, we see a third of them came from there. So yes, huge shout out to the NABLL, all the sponsors. We've got the Bag Square in the background, and we were just talking about this game of the week, the Trenton Terror and the Jim Thorpe All-Americans. Trenton Terror lost their first game by 1 goal, and I believe it was in overtime, and it was Kyle Baker, and we've seen Kyle Baker play before, so we know what kind of player he's capable of being and what it took to probably score that goal. So I would imagine this Trenton team's pretty good. And now we're going to see 3 weeks in, we start to see some of that chemistry. Is Jim Thorpe this good, you think, or how we going to pan out?
There's a lot of NABLL players out there that we know. I seen the Kyle Baker goal. I don't know if you had seen the highlight. It's on his I don't know if it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, or if it's Facebook. But as far as a nice setup, ball worked around, and he came down the right lane and he launched across. Great goal. The athletic. They're athletic. Croy plays for them. Corey Arnold from the Eels. He's on that team. Solid defenseman. It's going to be a heck of a game. I wish other than looking at their schedule and we can see their roster, unless guys are tweeting stuff or putting it out there, you are you get a hold of people, you talk to people. This technology stuff is
I was hoping that
cool,
I was hoping they were going to have a spot, because I like it when I could just pull up their website and read the stats. So when me and Rodney do the NLL show, it's super easy because we could just pull up their stats and I do it. We've got that new affiliate from Calgary, and it just is super convenient. I wish they, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure it's just a matter of, there's a lot of teams.
It's a matter of time.
You got to get everybody figured out. I'm confident that this league, I mean, there's no way they spent this much money and they're not going to get the stats figured out. And what I'm interested to see is really what they do with the streaming. I really hope they they do get it out there sooner rather than later, I think they could really capitalize on this. Like this lacrosse, this game of the week, I guarantee the Terra, and I probably could go through and screen record some of it and have some of the highlights, but I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that, so I don't really mess around with stealing stuff from with people. That's why I'll do a couple here and there and slow them down for some guys I know. But it's really, I don't know, that game I think is going to be so telling for how we move forward. But next week we also have the Mayhem and the Bootleggers playing, so I've got a couple guys I talked to on those teams that I should be able to stay up to date with. And this Bomber Spark game, though, I mean, Syracuse now, are they in a must-win? They still haven't had a home game either.
Can you say a must-win? Well, yeah, well, the Bombers got their three first games are at home, so it's a role reversal in regards to Bombers versus Syracuse. They've been on the road three first games, and it's turning into is it a must-win? I mean, do you want to talk about instant rivalry? Well, Elmira and Syracuse are pretty close, but how far can you throw a stone? Because that's a much closer matchup as far as that goes. I mean, you're in an hour, you're either in Syracuse or you're in Binghamton. Jump on 81 and you're there.
Hang on, I want to pull something up on the screen right now since I was talking some shit. So the Syracuse Spark have released Trevor Stacy from the active roster. I'm not surprised to see that. But that is on their transactions. But you do see some of the things there. They've also released Brian Phillips from the active roster. Vaughn Harris is signed. Justin Napolitano signed. They placed Thomas Kelly on the injury reserve. That's unfortunate. He's a really good player. Same with Leroy Halftown. He was part of a big hit out there in the game. Hopefully both those guys are okay and healed up. I'm not surprised, and I really, I definitely, I'm not surprised Ron did it. I would have been more surprised if they didn't take action after the way that guy behaved. And like I said, it's not to say that I don't know. The way Ron conducts himself and the way that rest of that team conducts himself, it didn't seem like that was part of the culture. So I'm, like I said, never rooting for anybody to lose a job. But
I'm going to take every word that you're saying. I didn't see what transpired, so I'll take your word that it wasn't.
It was a couple
needed to be.
It was a couple things. Like one of the things was earlier in the game, there's a guy standing behind the net looking this way, and he comes and blindsides him. I posted that one on my Instagram, and I was like, he wasn't part of the play, like, and he wasn't expecting it. It wasn't like he was cutting through the crease and getting ready or backing his way in or expecting it. He was just standing there. And then the way he went after the other guy, they did the right thing. They threw him out of the game. The refs, they should have taken control sooner. Like I said, the refs are young. I think they watched that game. They've got a lot to learn, like everybody in this league. I don't want to knock anybody for that. I think they're going to do a great job and figure it out. But the Bootleggers, got two signings with Peyton Smith and Joel Tinney. That is a big signing for the Charlotte Bootleggers. Yeah. We happened to watch him. He's another NABLL player down in the Nationals.
He is another. Yeah.
He played for the Wild team.
A third of the league is NABLL, and not for nothing, we're seeing a lot of the NABLL products shine as far as that goes. That's a great testament to all the general managers and coaches out there. Great job, and players.
It is. Unfortunately, I do see it looks like Chris Ryan was released.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Great player, Chris is. He's he poured into it what he had. He's got nothing to be embarrassed about. He made it onto the roster, and he's old. Yeah, he's another one of those players. He's going to continue to grow with the Yeti and the rest of it.
I'm excited for what he brings.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They signed Drake Smith, Ashton Jacobs, Donnie Moss, and Chris Dysenroth, another NABLL player. I remember that name. Right. So that's
He's from the Eels.
Yes,
another Eel.
That's what it is. What I expect.
That's Polymalu.
Oh, that's Polymalu. No, Polymalu's that's Irizarry.
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 Irizarry. I don't know.
Anthony Irizarry. But that's Chris Dyson Roth. That's a different player from the team. That's not but no, it's not. That's not
17.
That's Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Okay, so
Isn't that who it is? I think that's who it is.
I don't know. I'd have to look at into it. And actually, you know what? The NABLL website is usually way better. While we are talking about the PBLA, we're going to find out how all that is. I'm going to click on the teams and see if I can't, in a couple of clicks, find out what the roster is for the Eels. I just got to find your guys' division, and we're up there. Players is boom, and it's loading. And here, well, I might as well throw it up here.
There it is.
The NABLL does a great job with that. There's
They
Clay
do.
Arnold, Croy, Bang, um, Tommy Castan. Yeah, you see a lot. Yeah, there's Chris Dyson-Roth right there. He was number 6. So no,
Number 6.
yeah, Devontae Adams was 17, I believe. But yeah, so
Yeah,
there's
what's his name? Well, what's the Eels? Because I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. 17 for the Eels is who? Do you see a number with a name? Because he's on the Bombers, and I apologize. I just don't
that's
know.
Geddes, isn't it?
No, Gaddis
Oh
was
no, it
number
wasn't.
7 for the Eels,
I don't see it
or
on
11.
there.
11.
I apologize for not being able to see it, but yes, he is
No, it's
on
not your
there,
fault.
and I have seen him. He yeah, he had the little dust up at the beginning.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's him. Yeah. I tell you, shout out to the NABLL because the last time we talked to Rachel, she was like, "We're working on our website right now. Give us, a week." And here we are a week later, and boom, they've
Yeah.
got it locked down. Marcus Holman
Yeah,
should
I
be.
was on a meeting. I was on a meeting with them this past. We had the new teams meeting this past week. I jumped on and
Hang on, we'll get to
I
that
thought it
real
was
quick.
correct.
We got to shout
Okay,
out. We got to shout
I'm
out
all
this
over it.
comment real quick. We got
Oh,
Alden Weaver. Marcus Holman should be returning to the Bootleggers after missing the first game. How much of a difference is he going to make for them? That's a huge difference. Marcus Holman is a great player. That's what I mean. That can be that big of a deal, and they didn't lose by a lot. It wasn't like they were one of those teams that got blown out. I think the Bootleggers, they've got the French brothers on that team. The Bootleggers are going to be they're a good team. I
yeah,
yeah, adding Marcus Holman to the roster, even if it takes him another week to kind of figure it out,
gel in.
I don't see it being a big issue at
Yeah,
all. He's yeah, our a big I don't see it not affecting it. It's going to definitely affect it. But anyway, sorry, you were talking about the new team meeting that you guys had. You
yeah.
guys got a bunch
The
of
new
new
team.
teams, huh?
Yeah, it sounds as though I haven't seen anything official. Although I did, whether it's official or not, I know last week we talked about Collar City being interested in moving up to the Upstate Division, and they had a team meeting, and Justin got a hold of us general managers this past week, and said, "Listen, the boys, commitment wise, they're committed, they're in, but they're going to stay in the Mid Atlantic, I believe, division. Is that what they played in last year?
Metro Division.
The Metro division. That style of play, we do a lot of home and homes. Every one of our games, I have a home game. Eels have a home game. We do the home and home. I like the crowd. It builds it builds your fan base.
It's a different style, and that's what's so cool about the NABLL is really they make everything work for everybody. And like the way that Collar City is built with so many young guys that are really college players and that, and having to fit that into a weekend where they can only that was a big thing for them is trying to get the weekend commitments, and that's how they're making sure that they're moving forward in the right direction and taking care of the problem.
They're getting their games in. I mean, if you can go a weekend and get your 3 games in or get 2 games in, that's pretty much what we do. But they just do it at everybody goes to one location, which is cool. I just I like getting the crowd fan base built up where they know who everybody is, and they're pounding on the glass because they want to see somebody do something.
Well, there's a difference with some of those teams though too, is you have like Justin McKinney who's still playing. Like you're in a different position than Justin is, and so that's
exactly what he had said. As far as I listened to the ball, and same thing with what Maloney said, and what the Bomber guy, Cody, had said today.
Cody,
just different dynamics.
It's
guys doing
it's what makes
things.
that team so exciting though. It is, I think, is because or not that team, but the league. And now you've got that Thousand Island team that Nate's got going up there, and then I heard there might be another team in your guys' region. I don't know. Did you get to meet anybody else up there?
Somebody they sent out something that there might be somebody else. I haven't heard who. They haven't said who. I'm not sure if the Rovers. There was a Rochester Rovers team last year that was
an affiliate
wanted to be an affiliate. They did some sort of scrimmage out in Rochester, but they never had any games after that. I know I believe his name was Sean or something like that. He contacted me, and he's in Syracuse now, so he's going to, from what he said, pursue it and see where he comes up with it. So if he does, all the power to him. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is great.
huge thing. Somebody actually just put in the comment too that they appreciate us promoting the NABLL, of course. But one thing that the NABLL does have too is they have two guys that are in charge of development for the teams. So any of the
Yeah.
new teams, if you guys have questions, reach out. You want to get in touch with Dave Mathers, who's out in the Seattle Kings team,
Or
and
Tony Gray.
Tony Gray, who runs the
Yeah.
Golden Bears, and so much more. So involved in lacrosse. Dave Mathers, Team USA goalie. Tony is actually coaching for Team Mexico on top of all kinds of other credentials. Yeah, that's the other thing is like so many people in this league are so credentialed. I mean, like you guys. Yeah,
The other
Neil
thing
Powell's playing for
before
your team.
while you're on that right now, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're
I
good.
get going here, but because I'll lose it. Not just for the coaches and the general managers, any of these guys that are out there watching and they want to be involved, but they don't want to play no more, whatever, a little older, whatever the scenario. Fellas, get out there. The officiating, the NABLL offers a officiating courses also, and not for nothing, I wish I could still run, and I it's a nice little part-time job, all honestly. If
Yeah.
you're looking at the officials are paid very well.
You
In
get the
upstate,
training,
that
you
I
get
do
the
know.
experience, and that, I mean, one thing you can see is that having this new PBLA league, they're going to need more refs. It's something
Yeah,
that's good. You can take this training from them. One thing I'm hoping the NABLL does is I'm hoping they expand their insurance to kind of cover a little bit broader age group, but that's more of a selfish reason for me because it'd be easier than dealing with some of the U.S. lacrosse stuff we're dealing with trying to play box because it's
it's
kind of a nightmare
ridiculous.
once you start
Yeah,
reading the policy, but it is what it
well,
is.
yeah,
U.S.
all
lacrosse
honestly,
is
get it.
awesome.
Greg, get a. I don't know if you've U.S. Boxla. Go right to the U.S. Box. As
That's
far as
probably
Tri-City Lacrosse, we use U.S. Lacrosse,
yeah for field. It's
and
easy.
with their box program, but everything is so it's all geared towards field.
Yeah,
There's not enough information of the box on U.S. Lacrosse, but U.S. Boxla, any tournament, every tournament, whatever you want, it's all right there. Click,
yeah.
and it's there.
And
I
here's
know that's one of the things with our travel team. And speaking of the travel team, we have a team coming down from Watertown this coming Sunday at 8 o'clock. We're going to be scrimmaging. The Tri-City Stars are going to be playing United. I think the team name is. I think it's
United
Trinity
out of
United.
Watertown
Yeah, something like that.
playing
Yeah.
sixes, or you guys playing full box?
We're playing box. Yeah,
Oh,
they got
nice.
yeah. This is they contacted us. This is their first go around with taking the boys out and playing box. And I'm like, listen, we've had I think 3-4 games with our team. And that was 3 months ago. We've been doing our program at the Nexus Center and on Sunday nights. And I think we have about 20, 23, 24 guys that have been running with us on the varsity program. And if hopefully they need a couple players so that we can even up the benches. I guess I got 9 runners and a goalie. So if we can at least give them a couple runners to help offset the because it's a big field.
Yeah.
You start getting into you want to play run and gun, you're going to be sucking wind by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll kind of take that and wrap it right back into the PBLA because I think that's what you're
Yeah,
finding is so many of these teams is you're seeing so many different like so tight games and like this fourth quarter comeback and where Elmira was able to take the lead. You got to be in shape. You got to be playing all year to be able to do it. So get yourself signed up for one of these NABLL teams. You'll be out for the PBLA in no time. But
yeah, you very may well. The opportunity is there. That's the best part about it. Excited. Last night at pickup, we there's still a handful of kids that were around and doing a little recruiting. I know Nate Jobson was doing. He had his eyes open and he's watching, and him and Cookie are putting their hands together. What can we get? What can we get? What can we get? So
he's got a couple
eh,
legends up there himself for the coaches. I mean, you've got Tony and Johnny who have done an awesome job,
it's
and
going to
Tony's
be a
got the
great.
pro experience. And but
I'm excited. What this league,
I
this division is going to be pretty solid this year. I know as far as
It's
it's going to be very solid.
it's going to be a tough spot. I think anybody, coming into it's a tough spot, and you're only going to strengthen it up and hopefully do better at nationals. I mean, and look at that Wild team. Like, not surprised at all to see now somebody picked up Joel Tinney and to make sure he's playing. I don't know why it took so long to get him out there, but he's one of those players. He should have been out there. Like, you just watched him
Yeah,
at nationals, and to be able to give so many of these guys that experience. And how about that Williams kid playing for the he played for the Wheat Kings team, and he's a U21 goalie.
yeah,
And he's playing against a guy who's now playing pro. So many guys that are playing pro. Dempsey out there.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Eh, Great stuff. It's great stuff. It's a growing sport. Whether it's professional, whether it's semi-pro, whether it's at the youth level. Again, the more people can get involved with it and understand it and start to learn the game, they'll see it is. It's a lot more than what field is. If you're
it's a
looking for
lot.
the action concept, it's a
Well,
lot more than what field
if
is.
you want to make yourself a better field player, get yourself in a box league.
Yeah, yeah.
I know my nephew just started playing for that on the squash smoke down in just outside Albany in Bethlehem, and he came back and he was like, I can't play, like, just so, like, beaten down, but still so excited. Like, he's like, man, I'm just not good at box, but I'm so excited to learn it. It's gonna be
Is he
awesome.
a long pole
Oh
or is he
no,
a
no,
mini?
he's an attackman, and he's starting to
Okay.
move to mid. He's starting to get himself into better shape. He's a monster. He's a big kid. He's gonna be
Hmm.
a beast. Uh, but let's try to pick some games once in a while here. So we've got the
All
Bombers and the
right.
Spark. I would imagine I know who you're gonna pick. So go ahead and let's hear it.
Well, reality, I was able to watch those scrimmages and everything. Can we take what we've seen in the scrimmages and bring them into the games? We were able to watch a little of the games of what the teams have played. I clearly a biased, on the backside, I'll be cheering for a couple guys on the Spark, but there's no question I'm putting them. I won't say I'm putting the house on it, but I would definitely say I think the Bombers are going to come out on top. I think probably by about 3-4 goals. I don't think it's going to be any blowout, any type of thing, but and once again with these new pickups that the Spark got, who knows? They maybe they found their second gear. It's going to be a great game for the fact that the Spark need it.
Yeah, I
They need
mean,
this game.
the
They need
Spark
it. They
need
need
this
a
game.
W.
Binghamton's coming off a bye. Binghamton's added a couple of pieces. I would. I don't know. I'm going to pick the Spark only because, and I'd hate to pick against all the Yeti guys, and I know I'm going to catch a bunch of flack for this, but
Oh,
but
I
I
see how
I
you are.
think if the Spark doesn't win here, and here I am talking like they absolutely need to, like it's the end of the world, which it's really not, but they need
It's not. It's
they
not.
need to
But for
start turning it around, and I think Braun
yeah,
is. I mean, you could see with the
he's
changes
got
they
it.
made on the team, they're with what they're doing. There was a lot of moments in that game that you're like, okay, this is what Syracuse can be, and I think Syracuse is going to figure it out. They've got way too much
Yeah.
talent on that team. I think Caleb Benedict, he got to score the penalty shot. He's really gonna. I'm picturing him stepping up more, playing with Skylar Thomas, getting to watch it, and I just see Syracuse playing such a
How
physical
many?
style of defense.
How many of these guys have played together since they were little kids?
That's the
And
cool
they're on
part.
different teams.
Well,
And they're
Cody,
on different teams now. That's
yeah,
the cool. Yeah, he was talking about it today.
yeah, he playing
All
with
that
so many
type
of
of
these
stuff.
guys.
Yeah,
It,
I mean, what's Ty Hill going to do? Ty Hill, I'm sure, probably was right with these guys out in the backyard. You
yeah,
know, those matchups are going to be pretty cool. I'm excited.
and that's honestly what you were just talking about there with Ty Hill and Ty Thompson and that whole offense they have in Binghamton. That's what I see the difference being though. Is I think Syracuse is sick of getting scored on. They're way too
Yeah,
big to get pushed around like this, and then it comes down to the fourth quarter, and that's where Binghamton is really in shape. I mean, they are not the biggest team, but they are fast, and they've got some big boys on their own right. And you've got Thurston playing there on offense, and the rest of I don't know. It's tough, but I'm gonna have to go with the Spark and the Terror All Americans. I think the All Americans are gonna lose their first game. I'm gonna go with the Terror here. I have nothing to base that on because I've never seen the Terror play, but I
I'm
know.
going with because there's a Yeti on the Terror, so
Well,
I'm going with the Terror.
I also saw Bryce Tolmay plays for the Terror, and I watched him play for the Bats in Laxnigh. He is he's a defensive transition player, but he scored more goals there, and like the stuff he does, he's a solid defensive player, but he's got the hands, and he's just a member of that team that I think all Americans have been on a good run. I think we're going into week 3. Terror put it together last week. They just lost in overtime. I really think that team's going to be great unless they've got any major changes. I see the Terror beating the All Americans. What do you have for that one?
I'm going with Terror. I'm
Because
sticking with the Terror. We got a Yeti on that team. Hopefully, I'm hoping he gets the nod one of these times because Patty's a great young player.
Yeah, that was Syracuse.
But they got Atkinson too. Isn't Atkinson on their what's his first name? Last name is Atkinson.
You're talking about the Terror?
The Terror.
Yeah, I can look him up. But I mean, the goalie play has been huge, and I think that's one thing is transition goalie style play. Is you can see some of these guys are built like that. Like they can really throw it up, and that's what I was talking to Cody about.
The outlet passes.
Oh my goodness,
Jake is money on those passes, and that's huge.
You see it
huge.
Yeah, you see it in the NLL with especially Calgary does it a lot. That Del Bianco, and it's such a part of their game. They didn't get a couple of those goals from Simpson. A couple guys, their new rookie scored, which was great for them. But that's such a part of their game, and I think that's why they lost this week. And I think that's such a huge part of these leagues teams. So what were you saying for Trenton? What was the guy's name?
Atkinson. Trenton Atkinson. He's a goalie. Why am I having a brain fart right this second? Long day. I want to say Patty Atkinson, but that was a kid that I was on the Junior Sabres when I was growing up as a kid.
Yeah, no, I don't see an Atkinson on it. I'll pull their. I got their website.
Maybe he's a
Not that you can see
a Chowderhead. He might be a
been.
Chowderhead.
We've got a Watson.
I'm not sure. No, it's an Atkinson.
But there's, like I said, Bryce Tolmay, and
get him to what you were saying about outlet passes. One of the rules. I don't know if we talked about the rules for the NABLL, which is going to change a lot as far as goalie plays. There's no more goalie woodies or the walls.
Okay.
Yes, that's huge. That's a huge asset. Where I'm sorry, those sticks. They definitely, I think, are about a 3 to 4 to 5 goal difference a game, just because of the space that they take out and the ability to not. There ain't too many guys that are quick with the stick. I would say Maine had a goalie. What was his name? Sugar. Duncan. Wasn't it Duncan was using the wall, but the kid could throw with the damn thing. That's what was impressive. Usually the goalies aren't, they're not launching the 70-yard on the money pass with the wall or the woody. So
yeah,
I'm excited about that rule change.
No, that's a cool one. You'll see a lot of the guys, and it makes sense. I mean, that's what you're playing with at the next level if you're going to get there, and that's why some of these guys are playing there. So you're just going to help out those guys. There's no point in learning something different.
I don't know why I asked those guys. What do you got?
I've got Deej. Deej is from Collar City. I'm working on his podcast now. I was hopefully going to get it finished up today. I did not quite get the time I wanted to. A couple of things came up, but so thank you very much for everyone for joining us. It's been over a half hour. I know we always say we're going to do about a half hour to 40 minutes, but we're approaching that 50-minute mark now. So
it flies by. Beecher, again, what you're doing is awesome stuff. As far as hopefully some guys out there are listening, take a look. Get to the PBLA games. Don't watch from on TV. Get them to live. Live is so much better than a TV box game. Just the hits. Everything, the sounds, hearing the coaches, hearing the players. Get out there, support your local lacrosse players. Go down to Binghamton this weekend. Go to Elmira.
Absolutely.
Go wherever the
if
games
you live
are.
Anywhere near where you can go to see one of these games, you absolutely have to go see it. I mean, just the ones that have been on TV have been amazing. They're so much fun, and I've got to pull the website up again real quick before we leave just to make sure we've got the games of the week going. So we've got Bombers and Spark and Binghamton, which, as we talked about, hopefully I'll be making it to. The Terror and the All Americans. I'm so glad that this week we're kind of spoiled as far as those two games because we at least get to see that one. But the Mayhem and the Bootleggers, I know a couple guys on that Mayhem team and the Bootleggers game. That is going to be such a great game. And actually, we've got somebody in the chats who's been talking to us all night. I think Alden Weaver was his name. Yeah, and
I
yeah,
don't know, but
Alden.
where do you get all the? I don't see nothing. I'm sitting here. Where's the? It doesn't show on my page, right?
It doesn't
I gotta
show
have it
on
on my
yours
phone
because
to
then
see.
I've got to do the
That's what
virtual thing, and that's what I was talking about. I think next week we're going to have it set up so you can see it all. Big things happening. So
big things happening. We got
yeah.
lots of. Wait till next week, folks. There's some big news coming out. We're gonna do some
Lot
more
of-
chatting.
A lot of news.
We got some good stuff coming. You know, as far as it
special
looks like,
guest.
we'll talk about it next week.
All right.
Zip my lips.
Yes. So thank you all very much for joining us. Alden, keep us posted. Hit us up on Instagram at BS Productions 518 or at Utica Yeti on Instagram. That is the man, the myth, the Yeti, Paul Necker. I'm here with Blue Squatch.
Much love, people. Utica Nation. Woohoo!